All right, guys, today we need to talk about the insanity of the CS2 market once again, because things continue to be very, very, very crazy. As you can see here, we are continuing to hit new all-time highs in terms of the peak CS2 overall market cap, sitting at about 4.9 billion now, which is absolutely crazy. But something to be considered here, and that I think a lot of people aren't even factoring in, is the fact that this CS2 market cap number that gets thrown around by Price Empire so much isn't even including a lot of the new items. So the real number is actually probably significantly higher, and the market is actually way higher than I think people even expect, which means things could get even crazier from here. We're going to be talking about that and much more in this video today. But of course, first, just want to mention my CS2 cash trading business. If you guys are looking to sell any of your items, turn them into cold hard cash, crypto, or any other payment method, hit me up down in the first link in the description below. Over on Twitter, of course, you guys know it already. I don't even need to tell you, but I like to get the big deals done. So if you have any expensive skins, knives, gloves, bolt cases, maybe you want to sell your entire inventory, whatever, hit me up over on Twitter. We can probably get you a deal done, help you cash out safely, effectively, and efficiently. And if you're selling to me, you're helping support me, my channel, my content, so we can continue doing more videos just like this one. With that being said, let's get right into this video today. So that is kind of the first thing that I did want to show people, is that if you actually go on, the CS2 trending, obviously, hey, these are all based on Buff 163 prices. Awesome. We're getting a lot of data, but you can go over and type in something like gallery case. You will see there's going to be no data. Stuff like the gallery case is not being considered. You can type in something like CMYK. You will see nothing is going to be there. You can type in something like the fever case. Nothing is going to be there. You can even type in something absolutely insane and expensive like skeleton ruby, and you will once again see that nothing is showing up here. So again, so many people keep throwing around these Price Empire market cap numbers and stuff, but it doesn't really even tell you the full story of the market. And we all know how much money has come in to people spending money on passes and fever cases and opening fever cases, and the skeleton, all the new Doppler knives are expensive. You have the op print stream, you have just tons of crazy stuff, and just not only the money that's just in the gallery cases and fever cases alone, let alone all the expensive skins inside of them. So the true market cap numbers is even higher than this. So as we, hit new all-time highs or whatever, we break the peaks from 2023, we're actually a lot higher than this, at least, to my understanding. So things could get even crazier. But also, I see a lot of people around the markets and stuff saying that they're potentially going to be waiting. Some people are saying, hey, I'm selling right now. The market's peaking. The market's too stupid right now. It makes no sense. We're at a top. We're at peak insanity. But then there's so many people who are also saying, and I see this a lot, that the Austin Major is just a month away, and the Austin Major is going to be insane. The Austin Major is going to bring all this new hype and viewership, and people are going to be excited, and that could create one last pump, and then maybe I'll sell then. Now, obviously, whenever people are, preparing for some big event, or everyone thinks something's going to happen, sometimes the opposite happens. So maybe we won't get some big, Austin Major pump if that's what a lot of people are expecting. But we did get one piece of absolutely massive news, and that is the fact. I know we don't talk about esports a lot on this channel, but I think this one absolutely does deserve it. The fact that FaZe Esports tweeted this out. The CS GOAT is back, and he's on our side now, joining us for IEM Dallas and the Austin Major. Please welcome Simple. So obviously Simple has been out of the competitive scene for a while now. I know he played a couple games with Falcons or whatever the heck was going on, but he's still been on the bench for Navi, waiting for an opportunity or waiting for something to work out. And now apparently FaZe has been able to secure a loan for him. Now this adds extra excitement and extra insanity to the Austin Major. The Austin Major is already looking pretty cool because there's just a ton of great teams right now. You have Vitality, you have Spirit, you have Mouse, you have Falcons. Obviously, you have just a lot of teams that are actually pretty competitive. There's a lot of teams that could get something done at this major, and now you throw FaZe and Simple into this mix as well. I don't even know how good Simple's going to do. I don't think Simple turns FaZe into a contender or anything like that, but I do think he turns them into must-watch Counter-Strike, and that's going to add more viewership, more eyeballs. Yeah, Vitality, Spirit, Mouse, Navi, all insane right now. You have Falcons too. The top 5 is really crazy. I think there's like 5 teams that could all legitimately compete for this title. The run that Vitality's on, just absolutely insane. So many cool things, so many big storylines. Obviously, I know a lot of people, the Shanghai Major was a little bit of a disappointment with the bad viewership times and everything like that. And hey, the Austin Major probably not going to have the best viewership times either for a lot of people in Europe and stuff like that. But we do know that recently the NA crowds have been crazy. NA Majors kind of have, a history of actually being pretty exciting and pretty epic in a lot of ways. And this one could be the same. And like I said, having Simple back could create an increase in viewership, could create an increase in fanfare. And in some ways that could trickle down into obviously skin prices, player-based numbers, all of that good stuff. So I do think the Austin Major was already something really hyped and really something to be excited for, and that could make this whole thing go even crazier than it already is. It also could be a time for people to start dumping prices and dumping skins on people who think that the Austin Major is going to create some big boom when it's actually not. So it could go either way. Obviously, there is a common sentiment and a common saying in investing. It's like, buy the rumor, sell the news. And if the rumor is that the Austin Major is going to create this insane skin pump and we're going to go to the moon, similar to when, CS2 dropped and people thought that was going to send things to the moon, we actually crashed. This Austin Major could actually be the beginning and the catalyst for the beginning of the crash or the downturn or the dip in the market. But like I said, Simple being a part of this thing definitely does not hurt it. It's going to add viewership. It's going to add eyeballs. And if Simple and FaZe do anything crazy, hey, maybe things are going to get even crazier from here. I don't really know. We'll have to wait and see. But again, some of the things we are seeing right now is that the CS2 skin market cap did pass 4.9 billion according to these Price Empire statistics and data. Like I said, I don't think these are entirely accurate, but if that is what we have been basing the previous, market on, comparing that to now, hey, things are still going up. Things are still trending. Over the last 7 days, we're up huge. 30 days, we're up huge. 90 days, we're up huge. And even right now, I know some items have started going down a little bit. We have like Pandora's Box minimum wear down about 5%. We have Howl down about 6%, but most things are still in the green today. Still in the green this week, still in the green last 30 days, still in the green last 60 days. The market continues to be very, very, very insane. We have Corb CS tweeting out another day, another outrageous pump. Superconductors take the cake, going up 40+%. They've almost tripled in the past couple months. It looks unstoppable. I'm sure the crash is inevitable. So again, you do have a lot of people out there who are kind of anticipating some big crash coming, or telling people to prepare, be ready, whatever. I love natural growth so much. I love the CS market. And here's the Desert Eagle Fennec Fox, a very, very beautiful skin. This skin is absolutely insane, and you can see the graph here going from around 2300 RMB to about 2800 RMB over the course of like a week, something like that. Fennec Fox going crazy, but again, it's not the only skin. It's just tons of skins. That's what this guy says here too. Legit, every skin has this pattern right now. Seems so crazy that they've manipulated almost every skin. And at what point I don't know, because obviously we know that single skins or certain items or like a sticker or a case or whatever can be manipulated, but at what point, if everything is being manipulated, then like, is it really even being manipulated? Like, can you continue to call it manipulation if it's like, oh, this skin is going to be manipulated? Like, at this point, we're talking about literally every single skin in the CS2 market, in the CS2 economy, is being manipulated. Like, at some point, does that even make sense? Yes, I got a comment on the video yesterday that was like, hey, I don't think Chinese market manipulation is the right word. Maybe it's more like Chinese market influence. And yeah, that could be very, very fine. Like, there's people commenting saying that, the financial outlook in China right now is a mess, and people are looking for places to put their money, and people want to get out of, a ton of different stuff, and they don't have access to this or that. So CS skins present an opportunity and whatever. And again, it doesn't really take truly that much money to move the CS markets in a substantial way. In the grand scheme of things, people are way more rich and people have way more money than the amount of money it would take to move, a lot of these different skins. Yeah, 4.9 billion might sound like insane for our market cap or whatever, but it doesn't take $4 billion to move prices, a couple hundred or a couple $1,000s on any of these items. That's just not the case at all. So it could be, a handful or a group of rich people or whatever in China looking to get into skins, and they're buying up everything they can get their hands on. They're buying up all the old and discontinued and outdated stuff, whatever. That is all very, very possible. But again, Chinese market influence and Chinese money, flooding into the markets could be something that is affecting this. But again, can we really say, oh, the Fennec Fox is manipulated, the Blue Phosphorus is manipulated, the Hot Rods is manipulated, the Hedge Maze gloves are manipulated, superconductors are manipulated? Like, every single item in the entire market is manipulated. Like, at some point, I don't know, we're just kind of throwing out buzzwords and we're saying stuff that probably doesn't really even make that much sense. What's also even crazier is, again, with this entire market pup and everything that's going on, April was the first month, apparently, there were no content release updates for Counter-Strike 2 in April. The last content update, Spring Forward, was released on March 31st. So this, I think, was one of the first months or one of the only months in all of CS2 history where we got like no new major content updates or no like newsworthy where they make like a headline on the website or whatever updates, which is pretty crazy. Again, for a month ahead, nothing. Again, not really, because March 31st / April 1st, I think for some places in the world, is when the Spring Forward update came out. Still, to have prices going so crazy at a time where we didn't really even have anything in the past month is kind of interesting nonetheless, and just kind of funny. I know there's a lot of people wondering, should they sell, should they be buying, should they be holding, whatever. I thought Xerpus had a really nice take on this. He says, in quotes, "Should I sell my skins? If you need money for something important IRL, sell. If you wanted to get an item or a combo for a long time, and you now have the money to do that with the profits if you sold or whatever, sell. If you want to invest in something you believe in, sell. If none of these apply, hold on your items and enjoy the profits as new players join the game every day, month, and year, just like the people from 2014 and 2015 have been doing for the past 10 years. He says, whatever, this is not financial advice, blah, 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 but I do think that is the case. Again, every time the market has gone up, every time the market has hit new all-time highs, whatever, people have always said, hey, it's time to sell. Hey, things can't get crazier. Hey, this is market manipulation, blah, blah, blah. But guess what? If you zoom out and you look at in the past, year after year, month after month, week after week, prices just have always continued to go up. Yes, there have been some dips. Yes, there have been some crashes, whatever. But the market has always recovered. It has always reached new all-time highs once again. And whatever horrible price you think you bought at any point, really, in CS2 history, it has turned out to actually be probably a pretty amazing price in the long run. And you worrying about short term, should I buy, should I sell, should I hold, whatever, it's probably ultimately not really mattered. And the biggest mistake ever has been selling and being on the sidelines for a lot of the new market pumps. So we don't know how long this market is going to continue to pump for. No one knows. Things could definitely get crazier from here. Things definitely could crash down from here. But if you don't need the money for stuff IRL, and you shouldn't have money invested, more money invested than you can afford to lose, or you shouldn't have money invested that you're going to need in the short term anyway, into CS items or anything like that. That's just financially irresponsible. So if you have an amount of money that you can financially afford to have invested into items, and you've bought the stuff that you believe in the most, and you believe you have S plus tier investments, then why would you sell? Why would you worry? Why would you be stressing about day-to-day movements and stuff like that? Ross says, I will say I have supported the recent price increases for a long time, as there was always a lot of good reasons for it, in my opinion. Again, player base was increasing, the game was getting better, so a lot of items were probably undervalued, stuff like that, whatever. But he says, however, we have now entered a stage where people start buying the items that haven't gone up yet to try and make an easy buck. Spoiler, that doesn't work out. So we are maybe getting to a point of insane greed and stuff in the markets. Rod does also say his quick word of advice is to take some profits while the opportunity is there. In his 10 plus years in this game, he's never seen a price hike like this last. It would be a first. So he definitely thinks things are going to be coming down sooner rather than later. Hobshi, he also tweeted out, quick reminder, your gains or losses aren't real until you sell. So a ton of people right now think they have some massive gains in some of their items. People are talking about, I've made $100, $1,000, $10,000, whatever. But until you've actually sold, until that money actually hits your bank account or whatever, you haven't actually made anything. So one, I would recommend don't really check prices on a day-to-day basis. If you're not considering selling anytime soon, you don't need to check prices every single day. You can just, touch grass, do something else, watch YouTube. I don't know. You don't need to be glued to your inventory value. But if you are considering selling sometime soon, again, don't count your chickens before you hatch. Don't get too greedy. If you do need the money, if you need to hit a certain price target, if you know your goal is at a certain point, you've hit it, you might want to consider selling sooner rather than later, and not talking about your unrealized gains like they're real. Top gainers in the last month, we've seen superconductors double in price. We've seen the Karambit Doppler double in price. We've seen the M4A1S Hot Rod more than double in price. We saw the AK Hydroponic not quite double in price, but still just go absolutely insane. So again, it's not one kind of items. It's not gloves. It's not knives. It's not Dopplers. It's not this or that. It's literally all different kinds of stuff, and it has just been absolutely insane to see. Obviously, people, some people maybe thought prices have been undervalued over the past couple years, and we deserve better, blah, 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 but no one ever could have anticipated, one of the most insane bull runs in CS2 history going on. And even the most expensive stuff, you're talking about $3, $5, $10,000 items doubling over the course of weeks. It is really, really, really crazy. And again, I don't know how this is going to end. It's probably going to end very catastrophically eventually, but when is that going to be? Nobody knows. Again, here's a graph for the blue phosphor going from 4,500 to 6,600, a 50% gain in the course of a couple of days. I did pick up a couple of blue phosphors last week before that pump happened. One of them I've already been able to sell because it was off trade lock. The other one's still on trade lock. So gonna have to wait and see if the prices hold up for that in the meantime. But yeah, sometimes you get lucky making some purchases right before price increases happen. But it can also happen the other way. You can also make purchases right before price crashes happen, and sometimes you can get pretty unlucky. I've definitely had that happen in my CS career as well. CS skins have spiked artificially before, always correcting with Valve boosting new skin drops, thus reducing rarity. Could mass buying and holding rare skins drive their value up permanently? I'm curious to see how this plays out. It could be different this time. So again, people are continuing to say, these old rare items, they're only getting older, they're only getting more rare, and new items are becoming, so abundant that old stuff is becoming more valuable and cooler and harder to get your hands on. Could that lead to some permanent price increases? It could. It could lead to a price crash too. Nobody really knows. That's, the point of a lot of this stuff. Thank you, China. This just happened. Again, another item, just seeing an absolutely ridiculous graph. Desert Eagle Blaze going crazy. Healthy market, by the way, definitely not being manipulated or something. And again, I hate people just kind of spamming the market manipulation buzzwords. I don't necessarily agree with all that. But yeah, is this crazy? Yes, it definitely is. I also saw this that I thought was pretty cool. Some official instructions from Valve how to report bot and boosting lobbies in CS2. So if you come across accounts or lobbies like these, please send us an email. Type your email boosting report and send it to the email address below, cs2team@valvesoftware.com. In the email, provide screenshots of the scoreboard, links to the profiles involved in boosting, and a link to your profile so we can investigate and take action. This applies to all users worldwide, and email us directly with information above. So again, Valve, I guess trying to combat boosting and botting and stuff in some way. I know some people would argue, hey, you shouldn't need users showing you what is very, very obvious botting and boosting going on, but hey, it's better than nothing. So apparently if people are sending screenshots and games and stuff to this email, maybe Valve will continue to do stuff about this. And at the end of the day, botting and boosting does keep prices down in the markets, and as Valve continues to clean this stuff up, and if they do, that could have another boom to prices in some ways, because stuff like that, bots farming items creates higher supply, which lowers prices overall. So if there's less supply out there, the prices could actually increase on a lot of different stuff. I thought this was interesting as well. Again, in general, I have been a proponent of, not necessarily investing in skins and knives and gloves, because historically they haven't really done that good. And right now people are, seeing knives and gloves and different stuff going crazy, and they're like, oh, see, these are actually amazing investments, but not everything is that great. Again, if you invested 6,500 RMB in the op fade 4 years ago, you'd have 6,350 today. So the price of the op fade over the past 4 years has actually gone down a little bit, but it's pretty much remained the same. So that's something to keep in mind, that yes, even though a lot of skins and gloves and different stuff is going crazy right now, you do need to zoom out and look at the long-term historical movements for a lot of different things, and see that I still don't really think that skins, expensive skins, or gloves or knives are necessarily the best investment grade stuff for CS2 investing, but that's just another whole thing there. CS2 skin market is doing a bull run, but sadly it is not related to those liquids. I know a lot of OG traders, collectors who put money into cados, case hardened items, souvenirs, who are at endless depression. So that's another thing to keep in mind here. Yes, we are seeing a lot of different things pump, but we're also seeing some parts of the market not pump. We are seeing OG armory items have actually gone down over the past couple of months. Apparently cados and case hardens and souvenirs and stuff haven't really been a part of this pump yet. So maybe there's even more room for other items to continue to pump, or maybe we'll see a rotation in some of these other items as other things start to dip down. I don't know, but just because the market's going absolutely insane right now, it's a lot of different skins, it's a lot of different items, but it's not everything. So hopefully you've had your money in the right places. Hopefully you've had money in some things that have actually been going up, and you've been making some money recently. I don't know. Pretty much it was this video today, guys. Hopefully catch you in the next one. Until then, peace.